Okay, welcome. So today we're going to look at um, some money mindset stuff, as well as pricing blocks, as well as just maybe some strategy around how to bring in new clients, more clients, how to connect with people online and offline. Um, so I thought it would be nice to first start with a little meditation because once we're able to clear our own money blocks, so a lot of times when we think about pricing our offers or our products, or we are thinking about money in general, we have a lot of our own stuff that comes up around it, right? And usually this stuff is been carried forward for a long, long time. So once you're able to kind of free yourself from these misunderstandings around income, around money, what money represents to you, um, you'll either not attract sort of these awkward money conversations anymore, or you'll be so clear within yourself that you can actually really help someone clear their own blocks around money. You won't get triggered. Your money blocks won't get triggered by their money blocks, right? So that's really helpful. So if you have a journal or a piece of paper or something to write on, um, I would grab that, and we're going to kind of explore some of these beliefs, but I want to start with a little tuning in, a little period of meditation. So you can sit and do it, you can walk and do it, but just try and um, allow yourself to go in and feel and think about these things. Okay. So, ready? So wherever you are, just finding a comfortable seat, or if you're walking, just tuning in to the feeling of your body. And just begin to breathe deeply. If you can close your eyes, then feel free to close your eyes. And just notice the sensation of your breath. Just exhaling the day, letting go of any stress or worry, allowing yourself to arrive and be here at this moment, in this moment. Just tuning into your body, feeling anything that is showing up is very nourishing, supportive. Maybe it's a space of energy, maybe it's your heart center, maybe it's the sensation of your whole body. Just feeling that sense of deeper nourishment within yourself. And just placing your attention there as an anchor point and allowing it to expand in your experience, knowing that you could come back to this point, to this space at any moment, at any point during this experience, during this meditation. Breathe in deep to that space. And just allowing your mind, your memories to drop back, going back into your experience, and finding yourself inside your childhood home, maybe around the age of 6 or 7. Allow yourself to be there in your mind's eye. Just notice what it's like to be there. What are the surroundings, the furniture? Is there carpet? What kind of floors are there? What do the walls look like? Is there wallpaper, paint? Are there plants? What does it feel like being in this home? Maybe there's a familiar scent. Maybe there's a energy or a feeling that you're feeling being there. Notice what room or rooms you're in. Notice how you're being in this childhood home as a young girl. Just really allow yourself to arrive there, to take it in. And bringing to mind your main caregiver. Maybe it was a father or mother or grandmother or grandparent. Notice what they're doing in your home, where they are. Observe their mannerisms. And see if you can remember the relationship with money as you were growing up. What kind of feelings were they having, this person, around money? What kind of energy was there around money? Without judgment, just like a scientist observing, noticing, just collecting this information. And observe now, notice what you learned from this main caregiver about what money is. Is it security? Are they always trying to get it? Did they think it was for other people? Were they free with it? Were they stressed? Did it cause anxiety? Was it easy to come by? What did you learn about money from this main caregiver, this primary caregiver? Maybe they believed it was impossible to make or impossible to come by, that it required hard work. Just taking note. And then tuning in, and if there was another primary caregiver, maybe a father figure, maybe it's your mother or an aunt or grandparent, just bringing this secondary care figure into your awareness. Notice what this person's like in your childhood home as you're growing up. How do they act? Is there a main room they're in? What's your feeling around them? Just notice what their relationship with money is. What did they believe about money? Maybe money was security. Maybe they believed you had to work hard for money, that money was scarce, needed to be saved. Just notice what was the messages you received from this secondary caregiver. And just be with that. Just again, without judgment or criticism, just observing whatever's showing up for you in this childhood home as a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old, what you're noticing. And tuning in again to yourself as this child, this 5, 6, or 7-year-old. Just notice if this younger self needs to hear anything from the current version of yourself. there any messages or anything you'd like to say to that younger 6-year-old or 7-year-old observing these caregivers and their relationship to money? Maybe the message has nothing to do with money. Just allow those exact words that you may be hearing or that may be coming up for you. Just embracing this younger self, this 5, 6, 7-year-old, embracing yourself, welcoming them, and saying those words that they needed to hear. You can now express to them, to yourself, to her. Just breathing into whatever sensations are here right now, whatever you might be feeling, just allowing it and embracing it. And spend as much time here with this part of you as you need. And if you're ready, just breathing deep into your heart space and thanking all of this information that you've collected, any memories, thoughts, or feelings that have come up. Thanking this part of you that holds this important information. When you're ready, just slowly open your eyes. We just start to write any insights that came forward. If you don't have a pen or paper, you can just think to yourself, creating some conscious awareness around maybe any thoughts or feelings you learned from your primary caregiver around what money is. Maybe money gives me freedom, money gives me security. I have to work hard for money. Whatever it was, whatever information you gathered, you can think about your secondary caregiver, what I learned about what money is from my dad or my grandma. Take some time and write down any insights. This is just one way to start bringing up some of the things that's unconscious into our conscious awareness. Take your time. You can also write money is, and then just fill in the answer to that, whatever you're currently noticing that money represents for you. Again, maybe it's freedom, maybe it's pleasure, maybe it's abundance, it's security. And take your time. It was really helpful, really important. And then when you're ready, I want you to just write a letter as if you were writing to a person, but seeing money as this person. So, dear money, I'm sorry for feeling like you don't want to be with me, or I apologize for running away from you, or I'm so grateful that you're here for me. So just a short little letter, but something that around what you're feeling when it comes to money. I'm sorry for storing you away and not letting you roam freely in the world. Sorry for hanging on to you too tightly. Thank you for providing security, for allowing me to enjoy, take pleasure in things. Anything that's coming up around that. It's just one way to kind of create a new relationship and explore what your thoughts or feelings have been around making money and around money in general. Hey, everyone feel ready? Are you still working on your writing? Your letter. Looks like you're still writing your letter. There's a lot, you have a lot to say, I think, to it's a really good exercise. can also write down any judgments, right? Sorry for believing that you're ruining my relationship. So would anyone like to share anything that they noticed that came up around money, any judgments or anything they felt and they inherited from their parents or caregivers? I mean, not all is bad, right? Some are good. One thing my parents always used to say is money doesn't grow on trees. I don't know if your parents said that, but that was like the mantra in my house. Money doesn't grow on trees. It's like, and the funny thing was we actually had a book, my favorite book growing up was called The Money Tree. And it was actually about a tree that grew money. Anyone else have anything that they noticed?
So I grew up poor, and there were lots of stresses in my family, medical stresses and stuff. And what was so interesting, I think as a way of dealing with that, my family would always kind of say that money wasn't the important thing.
Yeah.
Right. But like almost in that sort of, and I also went to religious school. And so I think it like overlapped with kind of this idea of money not being what life is like, almost like money was bad. And there was this good thing that was sort of this sort of spiritual thing. And it was complicated. We also changed churches multiple times. So we never had a solid community. And I don't know, it was ironic in like some ways because we were so strapped. But the whole money was influential and important in our day-to-day lives, but there was not like an acknowledgement of that, I guess.
Yeah. And sometimes that also creates,
it
also creates a block for us, right? I know my mom always used to say that too, being fairly religious Christian and also struggling with money
and
making money and having money. Money is the root of all evil. How many times did I hear that? Like every day.
Totally.
So
yes, my dad would say that a lot.
Yeah, as a 6 or 7 year old, you're like, well, I don't want to be evil. So I guess I don't want money, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't want to fall into like this evil trap of suffering. And so then that creates this really unconscious kind of resistance to asking for money or pricing our services or feeling good about accepting money in some ways, right? We feel guilty, like, oh, now I'm on the road to hell and or whatever like our 6-year-old self is thinking. It's still in there. Yeah.
100%. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I went into like the nonprofit world in my career, my first career, and that's right. This sort of said it. I mean, I never really, at least initially, thought about like negotiating and going for something that might pay more. Was just there was sort of like I think to that because that wasn't meaningful. So it's funny, you have like your own words. You think you're different from your parents, but
but you can still heal that, and that's the beauty, right?
Yeah.
You
and
can
I mean that's a
heal that relationship.
Yeah, that's a story from like 20 years ago, but it's funny how things circle around sometimes at different stages.
Totally. Yeah, and especially as you're pushed into a new growth edge,
right?
These old things can come up, right?
For sure.
So you think, oh yeah, I already like dealt with that. But then, you're like hitting up against that fear or that growth edge again when it comes to like putting yourself out there or to pricing something. And then you feel like, oh, I'm not worthy, or, oh, I shouldn't, create hardship for people. That's a big one for me is like, oh, if I price my offer, I'm creating financial hardship for someone. Right. But that's like a very codependent kind of way to approach pricing. Like, I'm not responsible for other people's finances and their bank accounts and their, what they value, right? And so it's like you have to kind of unravel that, because that's going to be an unconscious block to really confidently putting yourself out there or pricing your offers.
No, you're 100% right. I haven't looked at this stuff like in this context probably since my 20s, because my late 20s, I went through my training, and then I always avoided private practice. I liked not having to think about money, so I was working where I didn't have to think about the insurance. I didn't matter. They had a charity care thing, and and that was good. But there are many other things to do in life that require having some of this sorted out. That's great. Thank you.
Good. Beautiful.
An issue I didn't know
I know. Well, that's always the thing, right? That's why it's unconscious. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to debrief, unpack something that came up?
I share.
Yeah, Kath, please.
Sorry, Susan. So I grew up quite comfortably, money-wise. Both my parents were working full-time. They worked a lot, but they really enjoyed it. And so for me, it was kind of the message, if you put in the effort, kind of with a true heart, then the money follows. But the result of it is, for me, I always feel like I'm not doing enough. So for example, I go on Instagram and see all the other Ashtanga teachers doing charity work or retreats, and I just feel like, oh, I'm not doing this. Or I teach in the evening. I have a lot of free time, so I think, oh, I should. So I think that's really the blockage for me. Like, I think I'm not doing enough, so therefore I don't deserve it.
Yes. Yeah, that's a big one, is tying like how much we're working or how much we're, not working to whether we're making money or able to receive money, right? Like I'm only able to receive the income if I'm like working myself to the bone and I'm like totally depleted at the end of the day. Then I'll know I did enough, rather than being able to like create that kind of wealth and abundance, right? In a way that is actually nurturing for yourself and actually, helping you feel fulfilled, right? And then I love that word fulfillment, because when, fulfillment's like the total opposite of feeling empty and depleted. And there's this kind of funny inverse relationship that happens sometimes, right? We feel like we're not worthy of feeling fulfilled until we're completely depleted. But when we're completely depleted, it's impossible to feel fulfilled, right? So it's a funny kind of juxtaposition that we have to like, again, just unravel. So it's great to have that in your awareness too, that, and really looking and questioning this judgment. And so this is kind of the next exercise. So you can each take a judgment. Let's take this one, because it's really a good one. I think it's one we all kind of struggle with to different degrees, but you can look even on what you wrote. Maybe it's like money ruins relationships. I mean, that's one, if your parents get divorced and it's like, there's a lot of financial tension that can often come up, or people want to take my money all the time, right? Or I have to work hard for money. Money will solve all my problems, right? We might have some of these judgments, or time is money. That's a big one also in my family, right? Or money is the root of all evil, or, whatever these sort of judgments were. Let's really look at them. Just pick one and then question it, right? So I have to work hard for money. So is that really true? What do you think, Catherine? Is it true?
Yes.
Really? Is it really true? Can you know without a shadow of a doubt that that's true, that you have to work hard for money?
If you ask me that way, no, but emotionally I have to say yes, it's true.
Yeah, you feel like it's true, but when you think about it rationally, right, it's not true. that you have to work hard to receive money? Because you can't know without a shadow of a doubt. Someone, some distant aunt could die and leave you a massive inheritance. You didn't work at all for that. Right? And there are those lucky people who do win the lottery from time to time. So they're not working hard, right? So it's not true that you have to work hard for money, but you're believing it to be true, right? Yeah. But it's actually, in reality, it's not true. There's lots of people that make tons of money that don't work hard for it. Right? We already know. Often the people that are working the hardest are making the least amount of money. Right? Nurses, teachers, like, janitors, so people that are making a lot of money are often working, 4 hours a day or something. They're not working like hard work, like we are envisioning hard work. So when we question that, right, then you can think of, okay, so what happens? What happens internally when you feel and believe that I have to work hard for money? How does that make you feel? What do you?
Well, you can never win.
Yeah.
Never enough. There's always something else that you think of.
Yeah. So you're never doing enough. And then just tune in somatically. How do you feel somatically?
Well, it feels like that there's a big mountain and you just don't want to even start climbing it.
Yeah, like you're pushing water uphill, right? like you're never gonna win. Yeah, it's an impossible task to reach the end of, because there's always more work to do. So there's never going to be enough. Maybe it feels heavy. And then what kind of actions do you do in your day?
Well, with that new awareness?
No, when you're believing that you have to work hard for money, what does it do? What does it create? What kind of work does it create for you?
Do the opposite.
Right. Yeah. So it's oh no, I don't want to work. I don't want to work that hard. So you feel okay, well, I guess I just won't make money then. Yeah. Yeah. So it's unmotivating rather than motivating. Yeah.
True.
And then even think about how are you showing up for your students, or how are you showing up in your relationships when this belief is working in the background?
Students, I think that I show up 100% anyway. Yeah.
Good.
Probably not so much.
you're always working, so it's hard to have a relationship when you're always working. Just ask Russell. He's always what are you doing all day long? um yeah, right. So it's impact your life. Yeah, maybe you're over giving to your students too, right? Maybe you're oh, I really need to invest so much energy and time and really be there for people. Maybe then you're also undervaluing what you're offering them, because it feels like it's never enough.
Yeah, that's a good thought. I haven't thought about that, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's just kind of interesting to play with it. So then let's think the opposite. What if you didn't believe this to be true, right? We just had some examples of how it's not true in the world at large, right? That it's not true that you have to work hard to make money. So what if you just didn't believe that and you were totally free of that thought?
I will take pressure off, and I think I will be much more creative and actually more productive.
Yeah.
Definitely more organized.
Yeah. Give you a greater sense of freedom, maybe enjoyment in what you're doing. Maybe more creative. Could be maybe a sense of ease, like, oh, this doesn't have to be hard work. It can be enjoyable and spacious and fun. Yeah. Can you think of how the opposite could be true? So I don't have to work hard to make money. Can you think of if there's ever been a time in your life when you've made money and it didn't feel like hard work?
Nope.
Do you ever teach a workshop or a retreat or something that felt really fun and easy and joyful and like it wasn't hard work at all? Yeah.
Yes.
And you made money?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've had that experience. Right? Okay. We could also turn it around. Money has to work hard to make me. I don't know if that money has to work hard to make me. Money has to that one doesn't really make sense to me. But what would be another way to turn that around? Oh, I can make money easily. I can make money without working hard, or I can make money just like flows to me easily. Making money can be fun and joyous.
But that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. So like finding a new way of kind of reframing that old belief, something that's more, first of all, what you want to experience, right? Because nobody wants to feel like it's hard to make money or believe that it's hard to make money, because that's going to impact also how much money you can make, because you're going to stop making money. You're going to stop yourself from making money because you're going to think, I'm tired and I don't want to work harder. You see how it like puts this limiting belief or this limitation on yourself? Whereas if you believe making money can be free and fun and easy, then like all of a sudden there's a freedom there, because you're not consciously believing like, oh, that's going to be a lot of hard work. You're going to think, oh, that's going to be fun. That's going to be easy. That's going to be joyful.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, good. So take any of your judgments and you can do this. So you can think of the judgment, and if you want help with it, I can help you. But think of the judgment, and then you're going to question, like, is that true? And initially you might be like, oh yeah, that's true. But then you have to ask, can I know without a shadow of a doubt that's true? Which usually, almost always, the answer is no. And then really examine, like, when you're believing and operating from that belief or that understanding, whether it's conscious or unconscious, how are you feeling? How is it affecting you? What are you doing or not doing? How are you showing up for yourself or in your relationships? And then if you didn't believe this, if you really like fully embraced that it wasn't true and it was no longer a part of your belief system or thoughts, how would it be different for you? What would open up for you? What would become possible? How would you feel and do and be and act? And then try and turn it around and even think of examples or situations when that you might have experienced yourself where you had the opposite feeling. So I wanted to do a little money mindset word to start with, because really, like, when we're stuck with feeling like if we're not doing the inner work around our money misunderstandings, it's really hard, first of all, to price things. It's hard to put ourselves out there and to like make an offer or proposal to people, right? And then we're not really attracting the kind of people into our world or attracting the kind of income we want because there's this unconscious block that's coming up, right? And so it could even be around like, you know, some of those unconscious beliefs that maybe came from our parents, you know. I mean, another one for me, I have a lot of money issues from my family. Another one was also like, you know, well, rich people are, you know, selfish. That's like another big one. So then how does that play out for you if you're like unconsciously believing this with your little 6-year-old self, right? And even though like up here you might think, well, that's not true, but really you're like, oh, there's still a little piece of me that's worried and concerned that if I make money, I'm going to be really selfish and greedy and not generous and like whatever those things were that we took in, right? So we got to clear it. You got to clear it because that's going to stop you. That's always going to be an obstacle. And it'll let you get so far, right? How much money is enough money? And then that obstacle is going to come up. Okay, well, I could make $100,000 in a year and not be selfish. But can I make more than that? Right? We all have our limit. We all have that barrier, and then this is going to get triggered, these unconscious misunderstandings around money, right? Well, I can make, you know, $50,000 a year with joy and ease and a feeling abundant, but anything more than that, oof, that's going to be hard work, right? Like we all have an upper limit where it's like, no matter how hard I work, I can't make more than $50,000. Why? Right? There's something else going on. And so when you're starting to find yourself limited or restricted in this way, it's good to like step back and do some like look at what might be coming up at an unconscious level. Okay, so that was part one. Part two is looking at how basically like how we can do a couple of things, and maybe you can let me know what you feel like would serve you the most. But do you feel like you'd like some strategy around increasing clients and customers, or do you want to look at how to create an offer or how to sell something from a place of service and really kind of hone in on what your customer's thinking and feeling? So do you want like actionable strategy steps, or do you want like a little bit more of the inner work? Any preference? Whoever speaks first gets what they want.
I would rather have the inner work.
Okay. Okay, we'll do both. We'll do a little bit of the inner work and then we'll expand out to some strategy. So the first thing that is really important is when it comes to selling, first of all, is realizing that selling isn't, you know, it's not selfish, it's not egotistical, it's not, you're not taking people's money, right? Some of these like unconscious things, we're not asking for money and people aren't buying you, okay? You are not up for sale. So whenever you feel like no one's going to invest in me or no one's going to buy what I'm selling, stop and look at, okay, you are selling an offer or a product, right? Whether it's digital or a service, but you are not up for sale. So first we need to unhook our self-worth from whatever it is we're creating and doing. Okay, and that's a big one because again, it comes into how we're pricing things. It also comes into, our feelings, our beliefs in, you know, like what we deserve or what we're worth. But you are priceless. And you deserve all good things. You deserve millions and millions of dollars, okay? You deserve to have all the money and wealth that you want in this world, right? You are not for sale. You are not selling yourself. You are selling classes. You are selling courses. You are selling, you know, your services maybe as a coach or for supporting people through something. So really separating your self-worth from your offers is really, really a good, important reminder to keep in the back of your mind as you're, you know, preparing to put yourself out there or to price your offer, your course, or whatever it is. And then there's 3 things that we have to believe in when we're selling. We need to believe in ourselves. Okay. So you have to believe that you are worthy and that you have this knowledge and that you have this experience and that you have this training, right? So believe that you can really help someone, a student, a client, a patient. You have to believe that you can help them, right? Then you have to believe in the way that you can help them. So, you know, whether it's your classes, a membership, a course, you know that this is going to be able to help them. If they take it and do the work and invest in it, it will get them from point A and point B. From point A to point B. And then and then believing in your audience. So this is another big one. So, you know, sometimes we might believe in ourselves, we might believe in our offer, but then we don't believe in our audience. Oh, they're never going to buy. Oh, they don't have the money. Oh, this isn't important to them, right? So we have all these limiting beliefs that come up around who we're selling to our audience, who we can help. So then that's where, like, so we did some of the work around believing in ourselves and our worthiness and clearing some of those money blocks. Believing in your offer, I mean, that's really about creating the offer that you think can really help, right? And that's basically what most of B-School is about, is like, how can you really understand your customer, your client, understand their pain points, and then move them from point A to to what they truly want, what they truly desire. And understanding your audience, like really, really getting them. Because when you come to selling something, and when you approach selling something from a place of compassion, from a place of empathy, it's easy, right? If you have a terminal illness and I have, you know, a bottle of medication that I know can cure you, right? It's easy for me to sell this to you. It's easy for me to say, oh, you know, I have this solution. This is how much it is. This is how much it costs. It's going to cure you, right? So when we have the solution, when we believe in what we're offering, and we understand that somebody's suffering, that they're really struggling and they need support, then selling is an act of empathy. And when you're showing up in the world, as I know you all do, offering many, many things, you know, for free, out of the goodness of your heart, from a place and space of generosity, without attachment to the outcome, right? Without attachment to income or the outcome or making a sale, then the selling is just the next step, right? That's how people can work deeper with you. And so selling from a space, first of all, as a service, right? Sales as service is like you are offering to help people, and you're providing a lot of free resources, and whether it's on social or whether it's your free opt-in or whether it's, you know, getting on a call with someone or being in conversation with someone, it's just a relationship. That's all that selling is it's relationship building. So when you approach sales from a place of authenticity and empathy and really curiosity, like really wanting to understand what someone's struggling with, how you can help them, then it's easy, because you're just like, okay, well, this is, if you want to work more with me, if you want to go deeper on this, this is what I'm offering, or this is how to work with me, or this is, you know, how to come into my membership, or this is the course. It really is going to give you all the details. So approaching the sales that way as really it's a helpful solution. So you can kind of also think of your clients this way. So you have to think of their circumstances, like where are they? What's going on in their life? What behaviors are happening before? So let's just take like a yoga membership or yoga classes, because I know there's a couple of you who are working with that. So maybe their practice isn't happening regularly, right? Maybe they're too tired, they're not waking up in the morning. So you're thinking of the circumstances. Where are they before? And then you're thinking, also think of their thoughts. What are the thoughts they have? The thoughts maybe are like, I don't know how to fit this into my day. I have too many things to do. I'm too busy. I'm exhausted all the time, right? And then you think of their feelings. Well, I'm frustrated. I'm feeling uninspired. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling like I have a lot of anxiety showing up and I don't know how to get rid of it. And then because they're having these thoughts and these feelings, then what are the interactions that are happening, right? Maybe then they're like hiding in shame. Maybe they're feeling confused and overwhelmed, or they're just constantly in a state of overwhelm. Maybe they're trying to sign up for a bunch of free classes and they're not taking them, or they're, you know, I love, like your sales page is great, Catherine. It's like you've signed up for all these memberships and you're feeling overwhelmed with all the choices, and there's no connection to an actual person, right? So really like getting into what are the actions the person's taking. Maybe they're beating themselves up over like their inability to wake up in the morning or to do this practice regularly that they want to do. And so then what are the results that they're having? Well, they're continuing not to practice and they're feeling bad about it, right? They just keep feeling worse and worse and worse, which is then preventing them from actually taking action to make themselves feel better or to do the thing that they want to do, which is find time to have a yoga practice in their life. So then you have to think of like the positive model of after. So after they work with you, or after they come in to, you know, your course or your classes or your membership, then what are the circumstances? Well, now I have a community that I'm feeling accountable to, and I'm practicing regularly. Maybe I'm practicing 5 times a week. What thoughts are they having? Well, now the thoughts that my ICA in this situation is having is, I know exactly what time to show up. I know exactly how to fit my practice in. I know exactly who to talk to if I am coming up against a block or struggling. I'm having the thoughts that I'm making some progress in my health and wellness routine. And what are my feelings? Now I'm feeling more confident. I'm feeling more calm. I'm feeling more empowered. And then what are the actions that are happening because of this? Okay, well, now I'm waking up with excitement. I'm enjoying the practice. I'm feeling more patient with my kids. I'm not feeling so ashamed anymore. I'm feeling joyful and positive in my day. And this is like, you know, affecting my work, and people are noticing I'm looking younger, right? So you can write down some of those benefits. And then, so then what are the results that you're getting? Okay, well, the results are that I have a yoga practice I love. I'm feeling more energized. I'm feeling more confident in my body, in my appearance, and I've lost 10 pounds or whatever, right? It's always good to throw some weight loss into the solution. No, I'm teasing. So then you take these two things, like the before picture and the after picture. And I mean, that's really your sales copy, right? How is someone feeling before? Why are they searching out for the thing that you're offering? And then how are they going to feel after when they actually go through the process or go through the stages or join the community? And that's it right there. That's the whole thing. Your service, your product is the bridge that takes them from where they are now to where they want to be. And if it's a new offer, or if you haven't had that many people go through it, you're probably not going to feel super confident yet. Okay, because confidence comes with the results. Confidence comes when you've had people go through the process and you've seen the transformation and you've seen it work, right? If you have students already that are like benefiting and loving it, then it's easier. You have more confidence in selling and what you're writing. So the first thing you need is courage, right? You have to like, okay, this is what I'm envisioning. This is, you know, I'm like pretty certain this is how it's going to work, but I'm just going to courageously put myself out there, even though I'm feeling fear, or even though I'm feeling maybe a little uncertainty. And then you're going to work with people in whatever way that you do, and they're going to have results. They're going to get good results. I mean, obviously they're going to get good results because you're good people and you're all like invested in helping people. So, you know, I can confidently say that. But at first, if it's new, it feels a little scary because you feel like, oh, well, I don't know. Is it really going to work? But think about your services. You know it's going to work. These are, you know, either it's worked for you or it's worked for people you've tested it on, or it's worked for other patients in the past, or maybe it's worked for other clients in the past, right? So draw upon those examples, and you don't need 100 examples. You just need one person that this process has worked for, that you're able to extend and expand it out to others. So then tapping into the reasons why people buy is also important. Okay, so the main reasons why people buy something is it's going to save them time, it's going to save them money, it's going to save them hassle, right? Frustration, complications, that feeling of not knowing, right? It's going to simplify the process. It's going to help them make money or get results faster. It's going to help them feel better about themselves or more confident. Avoid struggle or emotional pain or physical pain. Also avoid confusion, avoid frustration. I think I kind of touched on that. And also give them recognition or status. That's another thing, right? This is why people will buy certification programs and trainings, and right, because at the end they're getting some kind of new accreditation, new recognition, new status, right? It makes it valuable in that particular way. But people buy things for other reasons too, right? So then thinking of your offer, how might it save them time? How might it save them money? How might it help them make money? How might it save them frustration or confusion or simplify a process? How might it help them avoid pain, emotional, physical, mental pain? So think about how you can help them do this. And then why is it important? Why is it important to save money? What can they do with that extra money? Why is it important to save time? What can they do with that extra time? Why is it important to feel better, to avoid this pain? Okay, so that's, again, asking yourself these deeper questions around these kind of pain points or these deeper desires for people. What will it allow them to do with this extra time, money, you know, energy, stress-free living, whatever it is, right? So all of that's going to really help your audience kind of connect to the offer. And then whenever you're selling, just remember your audience is not about you. They're not like worried about you or investing in you or thinking anything about you. It's always about them. So it's always like, what is in this for me? Why should I care about this? Why should I want this? That's what they're thinking. Right. And so sometimes we think if people say, no, I don't want that, or I don't want to join, or I can't, you know, I can't come to these classes or whatever. If someone says no, it's not about you. It's not that they don't believe in you or trust you or like you, right? Again, we have like all these interesting associations that we, we tie our self-worth again to like people's opinions of us or people's yes or no, right? And we sometimes stop ourselves from offering or making a proposal or putting our services out there because we feel like we don't want to get rejected, right? But they're not rejecting you. They're just thinking about them and about themselves. And so really like unhooking and disconnecting, our feeling of self-worth or our feeling of being good enough or, finding even these people-pleasing tendencies from our clients is really, really important because again, that's going to stop you from putting yourself out there because you're like, oh, I don't want them to say no. Well, they can't say no if you don't offer, right? So you have to have that courage again to put yourself out there. So within B School, I mean, there's a lot of strategies on finding your perfect client or the person you want to work with. And I think just getting really clear on that, right? Like, who do you love working with? If you could just think of your ideal person that you love working with, who are they? What are their qualities? What problems do they have that they want solved? How do you want to help them solve these problems? When and if you can put it in really like simple language, like it's really good to think of it like, how would they talk to their best friend sitting in a coffee shop? How would they explain their problem to their best friend? Right? So it's not complicated. They're not saying like, oh, I really need a new self-care routine. Like nobody says that, right? They're like, I really wish I was practicing yoga every day, or I really want to have a regular meditation practice, or right? Or I feel like I'm not taking care of myself and I don't know what to do. Right? It's really simple the way we talk to each other. And so think about it like that, right? Instead of sometimes when we have like a product or a course or something, we're like trying to use language that describes the thing, but really we just need to describe the pain for the problem and the solution and the result. That's all people are interested in. You don't know, you feel like you're not taking care of yourself, and now you're, feeling like you're in a downward negative spiral. Working with me in this way is going to increase your feelings of positivity. It's going to create a routine in your life that's going to increase your energy and vibrancy, whatever it is, right? Problem, solution. So really focusing on the problem and the solution. Don't focus on the work in between. Okay. So it's like, think of it this way. If I want to climb up a mountain and I hire a guide and I have two guides and one is like, well, I can get you there, but it's going to require waking up every day at 5 a.m. and we're going to train before, we even embark on the hike. And then it's going to be pretty hard. There's going to be like some spots where you're going to fall probably, and you're going to feel pretty scared. Right? Like they're explaining all the work that you're going to have to do. But once you get there, it's going to be amazing, right? Or guide number 2, who's just like, oh, yeah, you want to get up there? I can help you. It's amazing up there. I've done it like 10 times and I know exactly how to get you there. Don't worry, there'll be some difficult spots, but we're just gonna get over them. No problem, right? You're gonna pick guide number 2 because they're making it sound like a nice adventure. It's not guide number 1 that's like, oh, it's a lot of work. Of course it's a lot of work, right? Nobody's gonna get results without work, but nobody wants to buy the work. Okay. If you didn't buy B School because it was like it's 6 modules and it's going to take you, 1,000 hours to go through all the modules and all the bonuses and do all the work and all the PDFs, right? There's so much in there. But she doesn't talk about that, right? She doesn't say, she might say, yeah, there's fun sheets, there's worksheets. I love how she even calls them fun sheets, right? They're worksheets, but they're fun sheets, right? So yeah, you have to, you don't buy it for what the content of what's inside. You buy it because it's going to give you the results. If you do the work, that's implied. So, so then think about where your people hang out. You can think about where they hang out offline. Are they at yoga schools or studios? Are they at massage parlors? Are they hanging out like at the new age crystals and bookshops? Are they, at the massage place or the spa? And go to those places and start to build relationships with those people, because that's creating a network, right? That's like a real human to human network. And online, it's the same, except it's an online network, right? So then you're looking at maybe Facebook groups, topics these people might be interested in. If you're working with people, say with autoimmune disorders, there's so many Facebook groups in there about autoimmune disorders or whatever, right? Instagram, you can look at influencers, you can look at people who are commenting on influencers' posts and then get in the comments and reply back to those people, right? You don't have to necessarily, you can comment on their posts, but you can also comment in the comments to the comments. And it's not so much about just like, think about it like a first date, right? Or like meeting someone for the first time, right? You don't want to just get in there and be like, hey, you want to get married? Right? People are going to be like, no, I don't. Right? You want to be curious about them. Like, what do you need? Like, oh, I loved what you said here. I think that, or this has worked really well for me, right? It's social. So be social, be interested in people and create conversations. And that's it. Like, it's so easy. If they're interested in having a conversation with you, then you can like, well, if they're like, oh, I love, yeah, this sounds really good. Do you offer something like that? Or, right? Then you can start having a conversation where you're making a proposal, but you don't want to propose like day one, right off the bat, like show up at the door, hey, want to get married? No. Okay. That's like, hey, want to buy my course? No, I don't. Right? Like, it's always a no. So get interested, get in conversation, build the relationship. I think Marie probably talks about this, build, know, like, and trust. And that's what your free content is. That's what talking to people in your DMs or in comments is. That's what making posts is about. It's like, this is who I am. This is what I love. This is what I believe in. If you love this, if you want this, if you want help with these things, like, come work with me, come be with me. This is what I'm doing. Come with me, right? Rather than feeling like you don't have to force people. They'll feel your energy, they'll feel your excitement. And once this relationship is established, people are interested, right? We like to support the people we like. And so it's really kind of a simple thing, but we get kind of stuck in our heads about it, or we get caught up in like wanting to make a sale. and so realizing that the end goal actually isn't the sale, and that sometimes your relationship with a customer or client or a student might start like 10 years earlier, right? And then over like a long time, there's nothing being sold, nothing, you're just doing your thing. And then all of a sudden, like 10 years into the future, they're like, oh yeah, I want to work with that person, right? Like, people are ready when they're ready. But you also have to make your offers known. Otherwise, people won't know how to work with you, or even that you're doing what you're doing, right? So again, on social media or in person, you want to talk about it. That's like a lot of it. Like, oh, I'm doing this amazing course, and it's all about recovering your energy or long haul COVID, and it's incredible, and this is how I've recovered. I mean, you're just talking about it, right? But people get interested. The people who are interested will respond. So you can just like, be natural, be authentic. That's the main thing. So then I would say also, if you're thinking of building an audience on social, pick one platform. Don't try and do all of them. Pick one. It's really misleading. People who are on all platforms have a team, okay? There's like more than them involved. Otherwise, social media is a full-time job. How can you even do anything else with your life? Okay. So pick one and get really good at it. Figure out where your ideal people are. Are they on Facebook? I mean, typically Facebook is like, I'm going to say 40 and over, maybe even 45 and over. I don't know. But if you're dealing with kind of older clients or people, that's a great place. Instagram is kind of maybe like a little bit younger than that, typically. If you really want like younger people, then it's going to be more like TikTok or YouTube, right? So pick one place, and you can think of also, again, Marie talks about like, what are you good at? Maybe you don't even have to be on social media so much. Maybe it's just like, okay, I'm just going to post that I wrote a blog, right? Maybe you're doing a blog, or maybe you're on video, maybe it's audio, podcasting. There's different ways you can kind of create content and build, build things to offer for free to people, right? It doesn't have to always be everything, and it can't actually be everything all at once. So pick one thing, and then also have one good freebie, right? One good thing that you can send people to. I have this free, for me right now, I have this free breathing practice, but you can always create another one. Don't get stuck in the cycle of just creating freebies all the time. Create one that you love, like even your chart at the end of your book there, Jyoti, is great. How is this going to help someone, right? What problem are they having? How is it going to help them? Go get it. It's free. Have your landing page, have your little form where they're going to fill out their email, start collecting their emails, and then just develop a sequence to start to nurture them regularly, right? So then you need an automatic email that will go out. Here's your freebie. This is how to use it. And then maybe the next email is like introducing yourself, why you love what you're doing, or why you started offering what you're doing. And you can always ask for a reply in your email, like, let me know one problem you're struggling with related to your freebie. Explain maybe an important point of the freebie, or answer common questions in another follow-up email. And I would say the thing that I've also learned with emailing is shorter is better. Okay, sometimes we try and pile too much stuff in one email. And if you find that you're doing that you're like, okay, I have this offer, and I have this offer, and I have this offer, or here's this problem, and here's all these questions, and you find that it's getting too long, break it up, right? Create 2 or 3 emails out of it. Short emails get read more like fully than longer ones. As soon as it's like, I mean, just think of how you read emails. You read the top bit, and then you scroll and you read the bottom bit, done. Right? You're like, am I interested in this? Okay, no. Or, oh yeah, this is interesting. But the longer it is, the more you start feeling like, I don't have time to read all this. So shorter, more succinct emails get read. Break them up if you find that they're getting really long, or if there's like a way that you can, here are the top 3 things that you need to do to restore your energy after COVID. You could even say, this month, this is what I'm focusing on, the top 3 things to do. You could list them and give like something really short, and then you could go into more detail in like 3 other follow-up emails, right? So like break it up into shorter chunks. And then just some freebie ideas for you. There's like checklists, guides, ebooks, worksheets, like a worksheet or fill in the blank, webinars, a free masterclass, challenges, quizzes, assessments, even just offering, like sometimes people love a giveaway too. Or swipe files. It depends on your industry, but like a cheat sheet, like that's kind of like your primary series one, Catherine, right? Feels like a cheat sheet, like, oh, I got all the postures. So yeah, so those are really good ones. People also love a quiz. If you're up to creating a quiz, it's been on my to-do list for so long, but it's never getting done. But quizzes also do really well. And then in a way, when you're building your list, you're selling your freebie. I mean, it's free, so it should be an easy sell, but you have to remind yourself, you have to like put it out there, like, hey, here's this free resource. Hey, here's 5 ways to do this thing. You know, this is your ultimate guide to regulating your energy with your menstrual cycle or whatever, right? Or like finding, like mentioning it. Because if you don't mention it, then people won't find it. People won't get it. People won't go to it. And then those are people who are already showing an interest in what you do that you can then follow up with. So that's sort of the thing. And in those emails, just give them the next step. Right now, you've downloaded the freebie. Here are the next steps. If you want to work with me more, you know, come into my membership. If you want to work with me more, get on the wait list for my course. If you want to work with me more, you know, send me an email and fill out this application or whatever, right? There's kind of give them the next steps. Click here and jump into this program I'm starting. So those are kind of the strategy aspects of it. Okay, we have like a few minutes for questions. So if you have any questions, bring them up. Went a little bit over today, but it's like a longer one. The last bonus class. Good question. Everyone got their strategy? Okay, I have a question for you then. What is your next step moving forward with your offerings? You can think about that. And then also, what is your takeaway from our month together? So you have to tell me those 2 things before you get to leave. So if you want to leave sooner rather than later. One takeaway from the month of doing B School, being in the mastermind, and your next step.
I can
Perfect.
Yeah, I can go. My next step in moving forward is just to create a sales page for my course, the Awakening course
Yeah.
but it's local, but I would like to
Fine.
bring it online eventually.
Yeah.
And then start marketing it. I haven't been really marketing much with it. And then my takeaway is the time with the group and the information. I mean, it's just been really great. I really appreciate it. The motivation, and the money, I think today was really, really good.
Good.
And also the first day too, when we talked more in depth about the online course format and stuff. I really appreciated that too. So thank you very much.
Good. You're welcome. Thank you, Susan.
Hmm.
Yeah, great. Good. Those are good, clear steps. Sales page marketing. I mean, you can market your course already even without a sales page. They just have to send you an email or send you an inquiry, or you could, you know, in social drop a, you know, send me a DM if you want more info. So yeah.
My next step is to try and work on getting a website together. I've started on Squarespace, so I'll just try and get something together.
Okay.
And my takeaway is to do one thing at a time and not get overwhelmed with how much I feel there is to do. Just focus on one thing. And yeah, I sort of echo what Susan said. This month has been brilliant, and it's great connecting with everyone and yeah, finding that motivation. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you. Good. I'm so glad. Great.
So one of my goals is definitely to look at my beliefs about money and try to turn that around. And I think the other one is really to get myself a bit more organized with my work. So it's not just I'm thinking I always have to work. So kind of doing blocks and then just marketing my 2 offers I have, focusing on that.
Yeah. Good. That's great.
Yeah. And it has been super helpful. And it's always nice to hear that other people struggle as well.
Always.
Thanks for the answers.
Good. So glad. Thank you. Marianne, any takeaways? Are you free, available to, maybe you're on your way somewhere? Okay. Well, it's been a real pleasure to be with you all. Thank you for joining me for this month of intensive B School focus, and I hope to work with you all again in some way in the future, in some capacity, and see you in person. So yeah, if you want any additional support or anything, reach out. You know where to find me, and we'll probably be doing, I think I'll be doing B School again in February. So if you want to come back in as an alumni, I usually offer these sessions here for alumni support as well. So you can, yeah, keep going. So give you 6 months to work on your own and then come back on in for some more support. Did you want to do a takeaway, Marianne?
I'm sorry, my Wi-Fi kind
That's
of
okay.
messed up at the worst possible time, so I missed all of what you guys said.
Just a takeaway. What's your next steps?
Yeah. Well, my takeaway, my main takeaway is I was really inspired by all of you in this group. And it was really fun for me to, I don't know, just connect with the yoga side of me. I just really enjoyed thinking about all these things, and it just gave me space to explore things I've been thinking about a lot, honestly, for years, like wanting to do some kind of course or what have you, or some kind of, I just never had this space before. So yeah, I really cherished it. And I learned a lot. I took like a whole notebook of notes. I've done hardly any actual B School stuff. It's all the Harmony
Just
program.
wait till you get to the B School part. You're going to have like a whole library of notes.
Yeah. Well, I did the Starting the Right Business piece, and that was so good. So that's my launch. I feel inspired, and I feel like I've got a good place. I got started. And then my next step, honestly, is creating my content, like getting really to know my ICAs and interviewing the people that I do know, starting to like talk more about it, spread the word a little bit, just to talk to more people with long COVID. Yeah. And then I'm, creating that curriculum for the first course and just kind of going through that process.
Perfect.
I think that's what I'm going to do next. And I'll work my way through B School, over time. And I probably be back in February. I don't know what February will hold for me. I'll be back to work or not, but there's a good chance I'll be back, because this has been really, really great.
Good. I'm so glad. Wonderful. Yeah, you got so many good ideas coming up. So, great. Okay, well, thank you all. Have a beautiful rest of your year into autumn. We'll see you again.
Thank
Ciao.
you, Harmony.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.